Hi everyone, welcome back to another violin and viola lesson. We're going to start off with a quick physical warm-up this time, a bit more energy than before. We're going to do a quick round of rubber chicken. So if you haven't played this before, it's just a very quick way of getting some energy in our systems, waking up and making sure our wrists and our bodies are physically warmed up, ready to do some violin and viola playing. So what we're going to do is we start off with our right hand, and we shake it 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we do the same with the other one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we go to our right leg and shake our foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the same with the other one. And then we divide it by 2 each time. So then we go to 4 on each arm and each leg. Then 2, each arm and each leg. Then 1 of each. And then we shake our whole body from the floor all the way up to the top and go rubber chicken, just to make sure we're fully warmed up. So let's give that a go. Here we go. Watch me to start. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Rubber chicken. Good. Might feel a bit silly, but I can promise you'll be very warmed up. Let's just do it one more time and a little bit more quickly. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Rubber chicken. Very good. Okay, catch your breath and grab your instruments for me. Last lesson, we've been spending a couple of lessons looking at a D major scale to warm up. And what I'd like to do in preparation for Hokey Cokey, which we're performing today, is to make sure that we are really confident in the descending part of D major scale. So going from top to bottom, all right? And the reason I want to do that is I want to start getting us used to knowing how to play a note that doesn't start with an open string. So if we're starting at the top of a D major scale, if we imagine we've already played, that would be the note that we would then start on, which is A3. Just to give you an idea of what that looks like. 0, 1, 2, 3. But we want to be able to start that accurately without having to go through the whole scale. So what I want us to do is to have our instruments up and ready, make sure our slot's happy, make sure there's a gap under our arm, have our bow resting on the A string. So violins, that's the second string from the right. Violas, that's your top string, your first string on the right. Have our bow resting on that A string and just double check our bow hold. So have we got a happy thumb? Have we got our pinky finger tapping on the wood there? Are our middle 2 fingers in front of the bow? And is everything rounded and relaxed? And what I want us to do is to just silently go through what it would look like on the A string if we went 0, 1, 2, 3, and then play that first note to see if we can get it in tune. Can we just try that together? So bow on the A string, and then 0, 1, 2, 3, play. And again, 0, 1, 2, 3, play. And from there, we can then go all the way back down until we get to the open D string. So it's going to sound like this. Okay, can we try that together? Again, lots of bow, beautiful sound. And making sure that when we switch from the A string to the D string, both of our arms are shifting over together. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, and after 4, let's start together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. This time let's do it one more time, but when I count us in, I've got 4 beats that I'm counting you in for, and I want you to use those to make sure you're ready to start, so that you can do that in your own time. Okay, so get ready, instruments up, check your left thumb is opposite your first finger, check your thumb is happy, check your little finger is tapping on the top of the bow, make sure everything's rounded and relaxed, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. like to do now is to try and play the same scale, but to make it a little bit more challenging, I want us to change the rhythm. Don't forget, rhythm talks about the lengths of the notes, the pattern that we're playing. And I would like us to use the rhythm ta, ti, 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 ta. Okay, so it's a bit faster, and when it's a bit faster, we just want to use a little bit less bow. So it would sound like this, exactly the same thing in terms of the notes we're playing, but the rhythm would be. So we're going long, short, 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 long. Okay, a couple of things to think about there. As I said before, using less bow on the shorter notes, and also thinking ahead, particularly at that crucial moment when we have to switch from the A string to the D string. We just need to be anticipating that ahead of time. Let's try it together a little bit more slowly. So we're going to go ta, ti, 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 ta. Okay, let's try it together. Instruments up, go through the motions. 1, 2, 3. Bow on the string, check everything's in place. And let's try it together. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And long, short, 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 long. Very, very good. And then of course you can do exactly the same thing for the whole scale. So just to give you an idea, it would go. So the difference when we do the whole scale is that on the top D, we actually end up on an up bow. And we need to do it the opposite way round. So we go long, and then the short bows would be at the heel of the bow in the lower half. All right? Let's see if we can try that all together, starting on the lower D. After 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and long, short, 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 long, short, 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 long. Really good. So I'd like you to try and practice that this week. These are all things that are going to bring together your technique, all of the technical things we've been learning to do with violin and viola hold, bow hold, how to make a nice sound, how to make sure that when we shift from one string to another, our arms are moving with us, and how to keep that really clear sound throughout. All right? Now, last week we started looking at Hokey Cokey. So what I'd like to do is I would like us to try and play that through all together. Now you'll notice, you'll have noticed that the first note of Hokey Cokey is a D3, it's a G, third finger on the D string. So the method that we were just using in our D major scale, we can actually use that when we're ready to play this piece. Before, I think we were playing it together, but this time, as we are counted in, we can be thinking 0, 1, 2, 3, and then that is our first note, etc. Okay, so we can try that together. So let's just try that together without a backing track and see if we can manage it. So instruments up. Let's just have a look at the music with our bow balancing on our D string. We start on D3. We play that for a few bars. Remembering to retake in our rest. And then we come down to our second finger. And if we've gone through the motions at the start of the piece, 1, 2, 3, then all of our fingers should be in the correct place already for the rest of the piece. So that's really good news. Okay, so instruments up, bow on the D string. Let's go through the motions. 0, 1, 2, 3. We're in place now. After 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Retake. 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 Fantastic. Let's just have a look at the last line, which starts on an open D, and it's basically just the start of a D major scale. The only difference is we have to play the D, the open D, twice. So just have a listen. There's no reason why that shouldn't be perfectly in tune now, because we've had so much practice of playing a D major scale. Can we just try that together? 1, 2, 3, 4. Brilliant. And then if you remember from last time when we tried it with the backing track, we then have the chorus that we sing along to, and then we play the whole thing through again. Okay? So let's just practice it with the backing track so that we can give a bit of a performance. So what we need to remember is that the introduction is actually quite fast. It doesn't last very long. In that introduction, we need to be going through the motions as we just did when we were playing it through together. Okay, so making sure that we're going 0, 1, 2, 3, but without using our bow, so we can do it silently, keep it to ourselves, and then be ready to perform it. All right, I want to hear all of you singing along in the chorus, so it's not just me doing it on my own in my house. All right, here we go. Instruments ready? 0, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. Retake. Retake. Now sing the chorus. Hokey Cokey. Hokey Cokey Cokey. Hokey Cokey Cokey. Knees bent, arms stretched. Wow, wow, wow. Now make sure you get through motions. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. Retake. Retake. Singing. Hokey Cokey Cokey. Knees bent, arms stretched. Wow, wow, wow. Great, well done. Excellent performance. I bet you can see why I wanted that high energy warm up today, so that we were in the right frame of mind for doing some singing. The next piece that we're going to look at is, I'm sure, one that you're all familiar with. It is Twinkle Twinkle. So it's a nursery rhyme that's very, very famous, and it's nice and gentle, so a bit of a change of pace from the one we were just doing. But as with everything, it uses the notes of the D major scale, just the same as all the pieces that we've been doing so far. So that's everything that we're doing in our violin and viola warm-ups really helps us with this. So we want to go through the same practice routine as we always do. I'm sure we're getting a lot more quick at this. So 10 seconds to figure out the kadai sounds for the whole piece, please. Off you go. Okay, after 4, let's say them together. Don't forget to whisper the rests. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, 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 ta. Very good. And then saying the notes, I'm hoping that we're finding this a little bit easier each time we do it. So if you are playing a violin, you are looking at the music on the left-hand side. You are remembering that you read the G clef, where G is on the second line from the bottom. If you're playing the viola, you are looking at the music on the right-hand side. You are reading the C clef, remembering that C is the note on the middle line. And we are, of course, using our usual wheel of notes to remember the order of the musical alphabet. 10 seconds. Okay, after 4, let's see if we can say them, the notes together. As with last week, where you can see the sharp sign before the note, don't worry too much. We'll just call it an F for now. It is an F sharp, and it just means that your second finger is wide, which you are already doing. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. D, D, A, B, B, A. G, G, F, F, E, E, D. A, G, G, F, F, E. A, G, G, F, F, E. D, D, A, B, B, A. G, G, F, F, E, E, D. Excellent. We're going to try and sing and pizzicato the notes this time, all right? Starting on a D, I just want you to see if you can join in. You're going to do this for homework. It should help that we know the piece. Okay, let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3, 4. D, D, A, B, B, A, G, G, F, F, E, E, D, A, G, G, F, F, E, A, G, G, F, F, E, D, D, A, B, B, A, G, G, F, F, E, E, D. Very nice. Now, it's all very well knowing what the notes are, but on the violin and viola, it's really important that we know how we play those notes. What we've done in the past is we've talked about numbers. So a 0 or O would mean an open string, so open D or an open A. 1 would mean we are adding our first finger. So you can see in your 5th note here, that would be your first finger on the A string. Here, if you're playing the violin, first finger on the A string. And then here, this G that we just correctly identified as a G would be the 3rd finger, which is actually 1st, 2nd and 3rd finger on the D string. So what I'd like us to do, even though the next step in the practice routine is to sing and pizzicato the note names, I'd actually like to just try and figure out what the numbers would be. And we're going to do that together. So I'm going to point at the violin side of the music. Perhaps you can, if you're playing viola, it will be exactly the same, but you just follow the viola notes. So we start off with an open D twice, so that would be O, O. Then it goes on to open A, so O, O again. And then as I just said, it would be A1, so we would say 1, 1, and then O again. And then we go on to D3. We're quite familiar with that note now because we've used it a lot. So we go 3, 3, then down 1 to 2, down another 1 to 1, then O. So that whole pattern there is just part of that descending D major scale. Just here, the last 2 bars. Then the second line, we start on an open A, so we would go O, O, then 3, 3, this is on the D string, then 2, 2, then 1, then the same thing again, O, O, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, and then the last line is exactly the same as the start, which was O, O, and then the same but on A string, O, O, then 1, 1, O, and then 3, 2, 1, O. So if you can't quite figure it out as we go, don't worry, I'm going to be singing as well. And I just want you to see if you can play along and ideally sing the numbers as well. If I say O, that means an open string. And we need to be looking at the music to figure out whether I mean an open D or an open A. Let's give it a go. After 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. O, 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 1, 1, O. Now 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, O. O, 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 3, 3, 2, 2, 1. O again. O, O, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1. O, 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 1, 1, O. Now 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, O. Beautiful. So what I'd like you to do this week for practice is I want you to practice the whole of your D major scale, but in the new rhythm. So that was ta, ti, 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 etc., etc. So all the way up and all the way down in that new rhythm. And I want you to practice Twinkle Twinkle. Definitely practice it pizzicato, plucking, just so you can get really familiar with the notes. If you are up to the challenge, then of course you can try it with the bow, arco, as well. But this is the first piece where we won't be doing a retake in the rests. We'll just be stopping the bow. So just bear that in mind for this week, and we'll talk about it a bit more in the next lesson. Have a good week. Bye.